Welcome to Hope is Here. My name is Greg Horn, and excited today about our program. Got a repeat guest, and we don't have a lot of those, but we had a lot of great feedback when we've had this guest on before, and we're going to talk about a topic that is something that's a struggle for me, but I believe you can get a little hope out of that struggle. But joining us today is our good friend, Hope is Here, and back for her third time is Jana Gillham. So, Jana, thanks for being with us today on Hope is Here.
Greg, thanks so much. And I just want to say you with Hope is Here and WJMM have been great friends to me. And I love what you do, and it's always a pleasure to be on with you.
Well, I appreciate that. You've been a blessing both before you came on the programs, before as a guest, as a listener, and love what you do. You spread hope through your books and your blogs, and just you're a gifted communicator. And speaking of that, you wrote something recently on your blog. It's a 4-letter word, and it's not profanity, but it's one that I struggle with, and sometimes I feel like it's sad, but you talked about rest. R-E-S-T is not a 4-letter word. And it was a great article. It really, really spoke to me. So I guess I just got to ask you the simple question, why is it such a struggle for us to rest, Jana?
I know. And I will tell you, Greg, that you are not alone. In fact, I have to raise my hand as well, because I was never the kid who wanted a nap, and I had not rested well as an adult. And rest has been a new concept in my life, really, in the last 10 years. When I remarried and my husband was a Sabbath keeper, he dedicates a day of the week to rest in real life. And I started doing that with him, and it made such a profound difference. I was like, oh, wow, there's something to this.
Well, it's one of the 10 commandments, and yet I think, and I know as a guy that's been in ministry now, even though I got a later start in life in ministry, been doing about 20 years, but even though it's one of the 10 commandments and God gives it to us because it's to help us, it's just a real struggle sometimes to slow down in this culture and world that we live in, isn't it?
Yeah, I was taking a walk earlier, and we had all these burned out fireworks around, from last night, 4th of July and everything. And I thought, that's a picture of our culture and how, people have this fireworks approach to life. And we kind of reward that in our culture as well. Lots of energy, a great big explosion, and then you're not dead, or then you're dead, and there's just not a whole lot of rest there. But I think I think a lot of us get caught in that. And when I think about your topics, Greg, about depression and how people can be more hopeful, I think sometimes people are just exhausted and they burn out.
Well, I've experienced it in my own life and have counseled people with that too, with burnout. And yet, as you kind of talked about, and you talked a little more extensively in your article, in this bootstrapping culture, we just assume that more work is better.
We do, and I have read so many articles that say, okay, just get up an hour earlier. You can get so much more done. And you can for a while, but I think you have to say, is more? And is more truly productive? Because there's so many hidden and not so hidden costs of exhaustion. We've mentioned a little bit, but rework, accidents, divorce, but we don't rest well. We still don't rest well. And to me, I think it comes down to a question of being in control. So we go back to the whole God as creator, and you and I both worship God and Jesus, and the Holy Spirit leads us. And when you think of God spending the amazing, miraculous words, because he just spoke into existence all of the universe and everything that we see around us in 6 days, and then the 7th day he rested. That's amazing. He rested from his own creative work, and then he told Moses to make that part of the 10 Commandments. It's the 4th commandment in Exodus 20. Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. We're made in the image of God. God rested. He knows we need to rest too. And it brings so many benefits in terms of slowing down, connecting with family, turning off the digital overload that we get every day, and just realizing I am not in control. Really and truly, I'm not.
Well, that's such a great point, Jana, that we kind of think we're in control, and I think that was one of the things that COVID really spoke to me back in March 2020 when that happened, that we really don't have quite as much control as we think we do we?
No, we don't. In fact, I think the Al-Anon slogan, "Let go and let God," says a lot. That's one of the first things you learn in 12-step work, is that you are not God. God is in control. And the sooner we get a hold of that and let go and let him do what he is so good at, life just gets a lot better. But it takes a while to get there. There's some hard lessons to learn along the way.
Well, I've learned a lot of those, but the good news is God offers grace and mercy. But I believe somebody listening today is like, man, Greg and Jan are really talking to me about getting some rest. And it's just the thing that's kind of unique, and our culture pushes against it. But actually, things actually grow better sometimes with rest, don't they?
Well, they do. I mean, we know that rest is built into a lot of processes in general. Some very common things, when bakers are making bread, they let the dough rest. Farmers let their fields rest. They let them go fallow for a while, and so that the soil can regenerate. Writing coaches say after you finish a manuscript, don't look at it for the next 6 weeks, maybe 6 years, because it needs to rest before you pick it up and have a new perspective on it that makes it really, really good. So there are a lot of benefits to it that we can start doing right away.
Well, and I know I've found just, when I do slow down, which is a struggle for me, that, man, I feel better, I think better, and, and it's amazing how it's kind of like the tithing principle about, giving God 10%, and he does more with the 90% than I do with the 100%. When I actually honor that Sabbath principle and get some rest and give one day just to slow down and try to honor God and slow down, it's amazing. Sometimes I've found when I'm disciplined enough to do that actually I'm more efficient and more productive. Have you found that?
That is absolutely true, and I'm glad you said that, because like you, I have a really long project list. And to protect that day of rest, it's made me a better organizer, which is not something I necessarily do, naturally. And so I have become more effective and more efficient in my projects by taking that time. And because I'm rested, then bonus, Greg, I have that fresh perspective and the fresh energy to jump in on that next day and say, oh, yeah, we're good to go. Let's knock this thing out. So yeah, I have truly experienced that.
Well, and one of the things that you write in your blog about rest is a 4-letter word, or is not a 4-letter word, should I say, which we're kidding about that with the bad 4-letter words that we were taught not to say as a kid. But one of the things I liked when you wrote in your blog about this, you said, when you set a day aside to deliberately do nothing, man, we just kind of see more how God's working, don't we?
Yeah, that's really true. There's something about taking a walk and just observing God in nature without the headphones on, listening to those birds, feeling the wind, the breezes blow, looking at that, if you can go to the beach, that rhythm of the waters on the shore. It's just special. And this is vacation season, and a lot of people are getting away from home and taking, time off to rest in a focused way, but not everybody can do that. And that gift of the Sabbath that's like a vacation day, one day a week, right where you are. And it takes that concept and helps you in your thankfulness for God's providence, and to celebrate that and to just enjoy it and to let go of the worries. There's something very, very rejuvenating about that. And that's something that I don't care how rich or how poor or whatever your circumstances may be, that's something you can start doing.
Well, I like how you addressed the hard question in the article. You said, why is this so very hard to do, to rest?
And I think it's that we are so wired to please. You may be an overachiever. You don't want to let anybody down. Some of us can get into codependent relationships where we have a hard time saying no, but no can be a really positive word. And sometimes it's not no forever. Sometimes it's just no, not now, right? And I think there's a lot of benefit in that. I used to work with some folks who, every time I said the word rest, they came back with this long list of, well, yeah, but I got to do this, this, and this, and this, and this. And if I don't, this horrible thing is going to happen. I kept thinking, what if you actually tried? What if you slowed down enough to try and see and let God ease you through whatever horrible thing is that's going to happen if you don't do, fill in the blank. What do you do to rest, Greg? What's your favorite way to unwind?
Well, for mine is to get away from that TV and to read, just to turn the phone, put it on silent for a while, and just to read or to take a walk, try to appreciate nature more and be more intentional about seeing sunrises in the morning or sunsets. And I've just found when I do that, as you were talking about getting away from all the digital stuff, it just really, really helps clear my mind and to do what Psalm 46:10 does ask us to do, and still so true over 2,000 years later, just to be still, know that I'm God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When we get our focus on how amazing and wonderful He is and how much He loves us, everything else just kind of fades away, doesn't it?
It really, really, truly does. And I liked how you finished out the article talking about how rest should be spelled. Yeah.
And I spelled it out as Shabbat Shalom, which means peace, wholeness, and respect for our Creator, which obviously is much longer than 4 letters, but that's a greeting that friends and I text back and forth to each other on the weekends, just as a reminder to take that time and to truly let go and let God.
Well, I love that. We've got about a minute left. Jana, you're a great writer and written books. We've had you here as a guest on Hope is Here. If people want to follow up and be able to, follow you with your reading or get some of your outstanding books, what's the best way to find out more information about you?
Thank you so much. They can reach out to janagillham.com, and I know we'll have that on your podcast information as well. I want to let people know I've got something really fun coming for Christmas, which is a work of fiction about travelers who get caught in a snowstorm right over Christmas. It's called Christmas at Grand Grands, and I think you'll enjoy that. It'll be a fun Christmas read or a fun Christmas gift. I'm working on another manuscript as well, and the band, Rahab's Rope, is doing more and more of the No Regrets retreat. So if you're interested in exploring things that you still want to do with your wonderful life, get together with us. We're going to be doing some in October and in February of 2023. So reach out, and you may want to host one. You may want to participate in one. Would love to get you set up to join us for those. We've been having a super, super response with that.
All right. Well, we've had a great time with Jana Gillham. I want to encourage you to go check out her website, Jana Gillham. That's GILLHAM.com. You can check out, she's got a couple of great books, also how to contact her about her worship group. But for Jana Gillham, I'm Greg Horn. We'll see you next time on Hope is Here.